Welcome to Pub Sports Radio, NCAA Net Profit. It is Monday, December 13th. Christmas is coming. It's finally getting cold here, even in Vegas. It's taken this long. It's even gotten a little bit cold here. Max, how you doing today?
You know, I just watched a thrilling game between two of the slowest tempo teams that put up 49 points in the first half and then put up close to 90 in the second half. So I was once again amazed by the coaching decisions of Northern Illinois and Chicago State to foul and start the fouling game with 3 minutes left in the game. It was freaking suicide for anybody that had the full game under. And just a goddamn fucking disgrace to afternoon basketball. So I'm a little shocked, a little angry, and if the right person was in front of me, I'd probably jab him in the neck with my pen. So I'm doing really good, Conor. I'm happy to be here with you, though.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, too. Let's touch on the weekend a little bit. Let's just go back to Friday. It was an okay day. The Brown 1 second foul, make both free throws. Vermont covers, hurt. But DePaul won big, which was nice. You had as well. You had a decent, good day, 2-1, I believe. Anything you want to touch on Saturday? I'm going to run yesterday's scores.
I think that obviously number one for me on Saturday was watching St. Bonaventure and UConn, and without Kyle Lofton, St. Bonaventure is just not the same team. I think that when you don't get some basic execution when it comes to making buckets close to the rim, and you're working so hard to stop this UConn team from building that lead and pushing forward, you know, it was a good learning experience visually to watch. Hard for me to be a fan also. And of course there was fouling in that game also, 29 points in the last 6 minutes or some shit. So killed a lot of unders. But aside from that, I think that the Alabama-Houston game was absolutely fantastic. That was top quality basketball right there. What I saw from this Alabama team is just perseverance. I think with Houston, you know, they may not have the NBA prospects, but they still have that quality offensive rebounding and physicality that is going to win you games in March. So a real interesting Saturday for sure. Sunday was even better. And just overall good basketball from the low-level mid-majors to the high levels.
Yeah, real quick touch on Saturday. Yeah, that killed that under in that UConn St. Bonnie's game. With about 3 minutes to go, I go, this is staying under. Looked like the Bonnie's got it maybe tight enough, but nope. Once you got to 6-7 points, and it just stayed that way, you know, and they had the big three at the very end to make it 9. And all those free throws and buckets. Layups can push a game from an under to over, and it's see ya. Let's get to yesterday. Let's run through some of these games. Purdue, obviously, they lost to Rutgers. Man, they had a tough one against NC State. I had a little bit on the over. I can't believe I got an OT and a little luck, Max, for all the ones of my unders that go to die. That one felt pretty good. Yeah, that one felt pretty good.
As well, Connor. I was on that over as well, and I was on Purdue live when they were down 10. Got on the plus 175.
Beautiful work. Great in OT. Finally kind of played the basketball they had been playing early in the year. But how about Baylor? Shout out Arthur Meade. Got to stop everything. Man with the dono. $5 dono. Thank you so much. We appreciate it, Arthur. Thanks, my guy. Baylor. I mean, wow, the clamps on. I mean, this team, damn, that was in, you know, Villanova's relies on the three. We know that. So, but 36 points. I thought they could win. I thought Baylor would win the game, maybe cover, but not by that. What did you think of that game?
Listen, I think that with my Navy midshipmen, this is a team that in certain matchups against certain personnel like Marist, they can slow them down. They can make enough buckets early on, and they can play with the lead. That's why I love Navy. I think Navy was fantastic. That first half over was great with them in that game, and then being able to take them on the first half money line and -3 was golden. So it was like unwrapping one of those Willy Wonka chocolate bars with the golden ticket inside, and we had the golden ticket. It was great.
Let's whip through it here. Maryland, I thought getting points was Florida on the road. They just didn't get it done. Maryland wins 70-68. Seton Hall covers against Rutgers. Rutgers on the road, fade them. Seton Hall covers there. Let's get through some of these. Indiana, huge win over Merrimack.
Yeah,
81-49.
but Connor, that game was much closer in the first half. Merrimack was giving Indiana all they could handle, and that is a sign of good coaching from Mike Woodson. You know, being able to take a team that's hitting a bunch of threes from you, turning you over on the interior, and then being able to dominate them like they did in the second half. That's the type of team that I trust back in as a favorite. That's for sure.
Yeah. Let's get to the night ones here, Max. Iona beat Yale 91-77. Yeah, I like that last night, laying the 5 there.
Oh,
and they got it done.
It was a sweat-free, no ass clenching needed. You didn't even need to watch that game unless you were scouting it, because that was just Yale was out from the get-go. It was nice. I enjoyed that one especially.
I did too. One that I was hesitant because Pittsburgh's played a little bit better, and kicking myself. I thought that under was good, but I didn't take Monmouth. I didn't want to, but I love how Monmouth's played lately, and they beat Pittsburgh 56-52.
Yeah, I was actually I was just thinking about Monmouth because I got some messages from one of my guys, Chris Gargaro, about if Monmouth with this non-conference performance would be a team that if they lost in the conference tournament final would be someone that would get an at-large bid. And unfortunately, I had to pop the bubble on that one. I don't think that that's possible, but I think that from a betting perspective, I think we found a gem that we can trust laying points with. I think that it's just a matter of figuring out how many points we can lay with them.
Yeah, let's get to this last one. State under, UC Riverside. That was good. And the last one, I had San Diego. I took the 4. I'm not really huge on Seattle, but Seattle made the shots, and San Diego's got to hit the threes. They didn't, Max, and they lose big last night. So,
Connor, I think you're forgetting the best game of the day. Okay, Iowa State versus Jackson State. What a dirty, ugly game that was. They were allergic to making shots like I'm allergic to freaking cheese on my sandwich, okay? It's like not good.
No cheese on the sandwich?
No, only on pizza.
Okay, no cheese on the sandwich. Duly noted. The guy. All right. Virginia Tech, Dayton, another one. Let's just go over one more big one. That understayed. I thought 128 was, I wasn't crazy about it. I wanted like 131, but Dayton, big win, and Virginia Tech struggled to score, stayed under easy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Virginia Tech really fucked the dog on the play there. I think that going into Dayton, you did expect a better offensive performance, and getting down early is just never a good sign on the road. You know, we know that a lot of road teams do get out to big leads and then cough them up, but when you go down early, you know, it makes it harder without the momentum of having that packed crowd. And playing Dayton on a Sunday afternoon at home, I fell into the trap myself. I had VOD Tech, and I was literally wanting to punch myself in the face. I didn't, but I was thinking about it.
Excellent. Well, those are some of the games yesterday. Let's get to the short card today. But before we do that, let's give a shout out real quick to the chat. Taylor MacArthur, T-Mac, I got Arthur Me with the Dono. What's up? Nilo, Thomas Johnson, J. Rowe from What's Up? Brad Summersale, Remost, Jake Burns, Starchild, Abel Alvarez, Fro Show Cash. Thanks for hitting it. Hit the like, hit the retweet. Like I said, it is a short show. We're about to get to it. But before we get to it, we're going to start doing this regularly. This is a short card. But every day we want to go on some of the line moves, the biggest ones from like last night to today, because our show is a little bit later in the day than so there's been a lot of movement in these games. So every day, Max is going to go through some of these biggest ones we've seen. Today, it's not crazy, but every day we're going to go through. Some of them can be 5 points. We want to point those out to you guys just to say, maybe it was good last night, early today, maybe not so much at that number. Let's get to it today, Max. Go through your ones you want to talk through on the big slide.
Yeah, I think that, Connor, with so much time, almost like 18 hours that go by between the lines being posted on openers and our show and us being able to give out picks, it's important for us to do the work for the audience and figure out where the biggest line moves are, where we should be fading the line move, where we should be respecting it, and more more importantly, what we should always do is play our number. And that's what we can do with this segment. So for today, there was only 3 games that I identified that I felt that there were line moves worth noting. I think that when you look at the Portland Cal Poly game, these are 2 teams that we've seen play a lot of under basketball. And from the number to go from 127 as high as 131.5, that's something definitely to take note of when betting the total tonight. In the Sacred Heart game, we've seen U-shaped line movement on the total, going from an opener of 139 up to 141.5 and now back down. So there seems to be double-sided action moving this line, and something definitely to take note of when betting this game yourself tonight. And then on the spread, not really a bunch of big line moves aside from the Chicago State game that flipped incorrectly, may I add, is George Washington, who opened up as a 3-point home favorite against Radford, and they went up to as high as 5.5 before you got some buyback. I think that it still is a little bit short, but we'll talk more about that game a little later on in the show. So, Connor, let's get into it.
Let's get right to it. Everyone, I'm sure, is ready for us to get to the goddamn games. So let's get to them. Let's get to it. MD, Baltimore County versus Princeton. This one tips off in about 45 minutes. Princeton, 6-point favorite total. You got a high one. Princeton can high total. They score a lot of points in games all the way to 152. What do you like here?
Yeah, for me, this is a spot where I do like what I've seen from UMBC's offense. Having Darnell Rogers in the lineup definitely adds an element to the backcourt that not a lot of teams can prepare for in practice or are going to be able to replicate. I think that he has to be able to score the basketball. He has to get to the free throw line. He has to be able to stay on the floor and stay out of foul trouble. At his size, you can pick up fouls pretty quick. I think that with this group, we're going to see them have to play up tempo. The defense isn't that good. We saw that in the Georgetown game. I'm expecting Princeton to be able to get going offensively and be able to put a little bit of a beat down on this UMBC team. They're not a team that I'm willing to back with on the road. They're a team that I have to fade on the road. I'm going with Princeton, and I like the over in the game.
I agree with you. It's 152, but this Maryland, they can score, but their defense, they just give it up. I mean, obviously Georgetown scored 100, but a lot of these games, like Pittsburgh, not a team, 87, 77. Some of these games they've been in, there's been a ton of points. So even at 152, I agree with you. I think that game gets up and over the total. I lean Princeton. I think they can take care of business as well, laying the 6. But let's get to the next one. This one's an interesting game for me. Radford at George Washington. George Washington up to a 5-point favorite, total 131.5. What's your look here?
Yeah, the thing for me with George Washington is I got in at the opener at -3. I feel like that's a good number to go against Radford because while Radford is much poorer on the road and has not had a lot of ATS luck, this is still a very poor free throw shooting team. And from that aspect, I just cannot put my money on them. I think that when you come and look at the total, this is really just a flip of a coin. If we saw this line in the 140s, 139, 140, I'd be all over the under, but I'm definitely having a little more trouble pulling the trigger right now because both these teams, all the games that they played in this total range have been coin flips. 1 over, 1 under, 1 over, 1 under. So there's nothing really to go from there. And when you look at this Radford team, they are definitely coming off, a monumental win. A monumental loss, against James Madison, where they were completely controlling the game in the first half, and then James Madison came back on their ass. And I think that that's the reason why I don't think that they get amped up for this game. This is one of the worst offenses in the nation, and even though they do have a lot of depth, guys that can come off the pine, guys that can start interchangeable lineups, it's just not a team that I'm willing to go against with George Washington at home, with Coach Christensen needing to win games, otherwise his ass can get fired. So it's GW for me.
His ass gonna get fired. Yeah, you better beat Radford. Radford here. I have nothing on it. I need more points with Radford, like you talked about. They're troublesome on the road. So yeah, and that total, I'd lean under. I don't have a look on the total. I need it to be a little bit higher, but yeah, I'd only look under in that game. Let's get to the next one. Indiana State, North Dakota State. North Dakota State's favored by 3.5. Total's right around 142, 142.5. What do you got here?
Yeah, this is a spot where I think that with Ike Nuki coming back, that's a big deal for Columbia. And it may be what Columbia needs to get over the hump, because they've been getting their ass kicked. They've been getting freaking back shots. And like, I just think that it's getting pathetic. I can't bet on this team. I think that with Sacred Heart, though, do I really want to be taking this team on the road? Not really. So for me, this is just a bit of a pass game. And with the total being U-shaped line movement, I really don't feel like getting involved in this spot.
Can you hear me, Max?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Indiana State, North Dakota State. North Dakota State's favored by 3.5, total 142. What's your look here?
Yeah, with Indiana State, I think that this is a much better team than I anticipated. I think that with Cam Henry and Cooper Neese both being really nice 1-2 scoring punches in the backcourt, it's just a matter of being able to keep your starters out of foul trouble, not have to go to your bench where, frankly, I don't really have a lot of faith and trust in. I think that not have Julian Larry available and him being injured definitely doesn't help this roster. I think that while I say all this, I'm not going to back North Dakota State in this spot. I do like that Sam Greisel's back. Jarius Cook is definitely capable of leading you from the backcourt, but I just don't think that Indiana State is going to be deterred to getting to the rim from Cruiser and Grant Nelson. So this is a group that I think that conference matters. Who plays the better defense? In my opinion, Indiana State can, and I think that they will. So I'm looking at Indiana State at least first half, and I'm looking at the full game under.
Yeah, I have nothing in this game. I lean North Dakota State a little bit, but it's all the way up to 3.5. It wasn't a favorite of mine on the board. Let's get to a good one. I think it can be here. Cleveland State versus Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, 12.5 point favorites. This total's moved up a little bit. It's all up to 134. What do you like here?
Yeah, listen, I think that with Cleveland State, this is another freaking big opportunity for them, and they can play an Oklahoma State team that they could upset. Listen, the Vikings have done a fantastic job so far this year. They're showing that they are a true defending champ of the Horizon League. And listen, they've won 6 games in a row. This is a definite difficult stretch for them going up against the Cowboys before they play Duke next week. But this is the more winnable game. This is the game that I think at the number has more value. And it's hard not to take Cleveland State first half and second half. First half and full game. When you look at Oklahoma State, this is a team that just really couldn't bounce back. And when you couldn't bounce back in a big game against Xavier and losing at home to Wichita, I'm just a little worried that if the Vikings zone up Oklahoma State, that's going to fucking really limit their shooting. And we know that this team is relying on the 3-point line. I think that if you can neutralize Avery Anderson, who is their premier scorer, whether he shows up every game or not, that's the biggest question. But for me, it's Cleveland State or pass when it comes to the spread. And I'd be willing to vouch for the first half over. Not sure about full game, though.
I like Cleveland State here, full game with the 12.5 points. I think they haven't played anybody really on their schedule. They opened with BYU. Since then, they haven't. But I still like the 12.5. The points have moved up a little bit on the total. I still think we can get up and over, even at 134. I think this gets over the total here. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say that while the Horizon League is definitely not a conference that I throw a lot of respect to, I think that it is a conference that has a lot of value top and bottom when it comes to betting. And this is one of the opportunities that we can take advantage.
Excellent. Let's get to the next one here. So it should be a good one. Rhode Island versus Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Rhode Island up to a 7.5 in some spots. Favorite total 129. What do you got here?
Yeah, I think that this is a Rhode Island or pass spot. You're not going to see me lay points with Milwaukee in this spot. I think that the number definitely is hazardous when I see that 6 to 8. Connor, you get that same feeling also now. And I think that when you look at Rhode Island, they're going to have to bring the Mitchells. The Mitchells are going to have to stop Pat Baldwin from being able to penetrate, but I don't know who's going to stop him on the perimeter. That is where Jeremy Shepard's going to have to key in. I think that if this team plays Rhode Island basketball, which is slow it down, make it harder for you to score, and then use the clock wisely, I think that Milwaukee struggles to get to 60 points, and I think that Rhode Island covers and the game stays under. And Milwaukee team total would be interesting also.
Okay. Yeah, I lean Rhode Island. I mean, I don't love it, here at 7, but that'd be my look in this one. Let's get to this one. I talked to you in the back here. This one, just Columbia's been so bad. We got Sacred Heart favored by 3.5 versus Columbia. Totals 139.5. What do you like here?
Yeah, I think that with Columbia, this is definitely a group that I don't want to be putting my money on. I don't really know if I like the number much with Sacred Heart in this spot. I think that they're going to need Tyler Thomas to have a big game, and it's not Tanner Thomas, it's Tyler Thomas, the older brother of the two. And I think that when you look at this group, you need freaking Aaron Clark. You need Mike Sixsmith to be able to come off the bench and give you that change of pace guard, that facilitating pass first guard. But at the end of the day, while this game does look very winnable, why isn't this line 6.5 in favor of Sacred Heart? Columbia is just that bad. So it's a tough spot for me to go either way on.
I know. Why isn't this? It opened at 5. It's trickled down to 3.5. There's 3s at Circa, a few other books. So that has me scared a little bit. But I could only go Sacred Heart lean in this game. Let's get to the next one. Albany versus Boston College. Boston College, a huge favorite here. 16 points. Low total, 125.5. What do you like here?
Yeah, I think that with Albany, they're going to have some deterrence when it comes to rim protection and Jarvis Doles. I think that it's important to get some scoring out of him, but it's just really a matter of who else is going to show up for this team. I think that with Jamel Horton, he's the guy that I think that can do it all. Your point guard needs to give you facilitation. He needs to give you good defense. He needs to give you some scoring. And in this game, this is an opportunity for him to go up against what I think is a backcourt that they can match up with. While I do give credit for the fact that this Boston College team has played a decent non-conference schedule, this is still a team that is relying on the Langford brothers and James Karnick up front. That isn't going to sell me on a lot of fucking nights. I think that when we're talking about laying this amount of points with them, I don't feel comfortable doing that. So I would have to be looking at Albany. But if I were to use Boston College, it's definitely teaser. It's a teaser type number and a teaser type spot for them.
Excellent. Great breakdown. Let's get to the last one. Last game on the board, the short card on this Monday. Cal Poly slow here versus Portland. Portland's favored up to 4.5. I thought I saw a few 5s, but 4.5. Total 131. You talked about this game, Max, in your the line movement. This has moved up a little bit. Portland scores a little bit more, but I'd still only lean under here. What's your look?
Yeah, I think that's the way that I would be looking at it. I think that when I look at my number says under. I think that with 131 or 131.5, it's hard not to pass up. Jacob Davison is back for Cal Poly. Cal Poly is coming off a decent performance against Portland State, but now you're going up against a team that got smashed, that smashed Portland State. So I think that I have to look at Portland at least first half to see how they match up and how they can handle Karoma. But at the end of the day, when you look at Tyler Robertson, you look at Mike Meadows, you look at Moses Wood, all these different scores that can take over and lead you on any given night. That's what Portland has going for them. And they have the good coaching of freaking Shante Leggins. So I want to back Cal Poly. I'm just not going to. Take Portland first half.
Me too. I took them the other night. They won outright. I think Portland's the better team, but will Portland cover? I think so, but I don't know if it's a game I want to look into. Maybe a live bet. here later on. It's a lone night game, the late game tonight here, Max. And like I said, I'd only go under here. It has moved up, but I could only look under in that one. All right, that is it, Max. That is all the slate, the quick Monday slate. All right, let's get to the sponsors. We'll come back. We'll have a few final words and our best looks. Let's get it. There's it. If you're in the San Antonio area, go to Southtown 101. Unbelievable bar, karaoke, food, great spot. Go to Southtown 101. Go to manscaped.com. 20% off promo code Pub Sports. It's almost Christmas. Order it now. Get your 20% off promo code Pub Sports. It's a great gift for whether it's for anybody. Brother, father, boyfriend, whoever, girlfriend, who knows? They use the goddamn Manscaped. Great product 4.0. And go to mybookie.ag at promo code PubSports. Put 1,000 of Bitcoin. Use the Bitcoin, transfer it. They give you 1,000 back. You got to get on it. Max talked about it's the lines, all these lines from the night before, just multiple books to get the best lines. So go to mybookie.ag at promo code PubSports and get the Pub Rub, 2 for $25, pubsportsradio.com. Go there. And also check out some of our merchandise. You know, you see it right under here, under the tab when you guys leave the YouTube. Such great hoodies, shirts. Cop some of that shit. And you can go to pubsportsradio.com as well to get some of that stuff. Rub your meats. Pub Rub Hub. All right, Max, let's get to it. It's in the show here. Let's get to your best bets, your couple games you're betting on. I'll get to mine, and we'll get on out of here.
All right. Well, the two plays that I like, one is in both games, and we're going to go with Princeton and UMBC over. No reason why not to take the over with the way that UMBC plays at these numbers and with the lack of defense that they play on the road. So I'm taking the over 152 for the show, Connor, and then I'm doing a parlay just because I don't want to be laying these 6 and 7 point spreads, but I want to be involved in cashing something with both these teams. So I am going to parlay Princeton and George Washington on the money line plus 105. Hopefully they don't disappoint their fans, their girlfriends, their families, and of course, their chicken tender providers.
Yeah, they do not want to do that. Don't let them down. God damn it. They're letting them down. Okay, let's get to mine. I am taking Cleveland State. There's even a 13 at the Westgate Superbook book I use. I have an app for, but there's 12.5s everywhere out there. Take the 12.5. I think Cleveland State, that's enough points to stay. And I think lean over in that game. I think we can get over, even though it's moved a few points here. Talked about it. I'm with you, Max. I'm also the Princeton, Baltimore County. I'm on the over 152 in total agreement there with you. And that's it. I have a couple leans. I'm a scared Sacred Heart. I can't make it a best bet on the show because I don't know if I'm going to bet it. I lean that way, and I lean that under in the late one that we just talked about, Cal Poly. So if I play it, I will tweet it out later tonight. So that is it. Anything last words for the chat, Max?
Yeah, I like your Cleveland State plus 13. I'm adding that also, so write that down, please.
Beautiful.
And to the chat, I appreciate you. I'm thankful for you. Even though some of you may want to ring me out with some pig intestines, I'm coming back tomorrow, and I'm going to be sassy as ever.
I love it. Best words, nothing else to say. He's the great Maxwell Smart. I'm Conor Mack, and we be pumping!